What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Samuel Sains, this one's for you. If it sounds different, if it looks different, everybody, it's because I'm actually on a rooftop right now. I am on vacation for the 4th. I'm back in my hometown, and well, just the way that it is, this is the most peaceful, quiet place that I can be without disturbing anybody. So, anyways, if you guys hear cars going by, that's what that is. If not, then don't even worry about it. All right. So, anyways, looking at Bitcoin Cash, Samuel Sains, your request was to see the BCH BTC pair specifically, and I think I did. I did back in the day, not back in the day, just a little bit ago, a couple weeks ago. I was saying that I thought this was the bottom. I originally said I thought this was the bottom, and I'll kind of go over why before we get into all this. I promise you I have a point of where I think, I'll answer your question as to where I think it goes. So, to answer it in short, I think we go down a little bit from here, a little bit, but ultimately we're going to do things we've just never done on this chart before. But so you can see here, this is a very significant move. Before this is arguably the most significant up move that we've had. And it still could be, if not the most significant one of. But you see how big this one is, this one. This is dramatically bigger compared to anything else we've seen other than this here. And so, this is a pretty sizable low, pretty sizable high. I took the fib measurement there, and we literally bounced off the 1618. I know that the wick went below it, but if you really look, you really dissect this thing, you can see we closed at it once. We closed at it twice. We had a double bottom, a true textbook double bottom on this chart, in my opinion, from that, at least on a closing basis. Obviously not on the wicking basis, but then we also had bullish divergence on this, and it sent us up here. And I was saying somewhere in this week, while this move started, I was saying that this would probably be the first time ever that Bitcoin Cash sees its comparison versus BTC above the purple line here, above the 123 moving average. And in fact it is. This is the first time on a weekly basis. It's the first time it's ever been above this purple line. So that's pretty fantastic. That's very, very fantastic. Bitcoin Cash is definitely gaining. I mean, in my opinion, over the years to come, I know that Bitcoin's a very safe investment, right? Over the years to come, it'll probably only go up in value, but over the years to come, guys, first Bitcoin Cash will be better. It'll very likely this is the all-time low, and I don't mean like as of right now it's the all-time low. I mean it is the low, man. That's where it happened on this chart, at least. US dollar, maybe not. I think it is. I think the BCH USD has already had its all-time low. I think it has, but this is definitely, to me, it definitely looks like a low. And I'm calling it, I would say it's a bold call to say that's the all-time low, but I made the call down there. I feel safe making it up here too, I think this is the all-time low. And let's see here. So we are on the long-term RSI, we're well below the 50. Okay? And I want to address some stuff as to what this means, like kind of the relationship that is to be expected with this RSI and with the purple line. So we're very, very far away from it. I know right now it says 41 to 50, but this is the 123 RSI. You can see it here, 123. It means it takes 123 weeks to get the very first lick, the very first pip that we got of a reading. That happened after 123 weeks of existence on this chart. So it's very significant. Every 1 point, on the regular RSI, 50, 51, whatever, but on this thing, 50, 51 is a big difference. 49, 50, it's a very big difference. Down here, being at 41, that's a very big difference than being up here at 50. And being above the purple line, I don't think that this condemns BCH to go below it, dramatically and permanently. I don't think, that's not where I'm going. But generally, when the long-term RSI is below the 50, and the price or the measurement, whatever, because this isn't a price. I guess it's a price versus Bitcoin, but the value is above the purple line, the 123 moving average. When you have this above the 123, but this 123 below the 50, this is generally a short-lived move, and you will tend to see it come back down. And I wouldn't be surprised at that, actually. I really wouldn't be surprised that this, and I'm not saying that it turns around from here. Maybe we do go higher in the meantime, but ultimately, if we kind of came back down, formed a lower or a higher low, for this thing to kind of base itself on, and maybe that low comes around where this low was, or where this low was, or maybe it comes at these topping points, something like that. But it really wouldn't surprise me, especially with this reading in the RSI too, to back it up. And on top of that, on the short-term RSI, we're oversold. I mean, we're the most oversold that we've ever been. And it is, it is 5 days, 21 hours. We got 6 days left in this week. So a lot can happen. It can definitely go up higher from here. But in my comments last night, I was saying that I thought we could go down, and we did. I think actually, yeah. We had a negative day, 3.9%. Today we're down 1.5%. I definitely think that we could go lower. It would be interesting to see what on the daily, what this RSI does. If we can bounce, if we can maintain in this overbought range and make another go for another high up here, maybe it's another lower high, whatever. At the moment, we do have bearish divergence, which isn't a good setup, but we could go for another drive. And right here, this top in the RSI, we came down, found support, and look what that led to. Could we get another one of those? I think it's possible. I do think it's possible that Bitcoin Cash could go to the upside from here versus Bitcoin. It's very possible, and it could go, I guess in a percentage form from where it's at, it could go to like 114, 117, 112, or 122. But from a percentage point, it could gain 20% to 30%, no problem. If it can hold this overbought zone on the RSI, but I don't think it's going to. That is very likely to happen if it holds this, but I don't know if it's going to. I actually think that we're going to go lower. I think this bearish divergence is going to play out, and that's going to take us back somewhere around here, which, let's see, it would likely take us back there. Generally, it's not like I've heard this been talked about, before. And I don't know how true this is, but I found it to be somewhat true, and that's, you tend to go back at least to where the divergence started. And I think Crown on Crown's Crypto Cave, he said that maybe. But, the divergence started down here. It would make sense that we would drop back at least to like where it started or something like that. And if I put, at a closing high or a closing low, I put 2 lines, we go back, that's this closing high back here. It's this topping area here. It's, look at that, top in this range, top in this range, top in this range. So it very much makes sense to me that we came down and had a bottom in this range. Does this mean Bitcoin Cash loses value versus the dollar? It doesn't mean that. But generally, you see them kind of coincide with each other to some degree, at least on the more major drops. But, I mean, Bitcoin could take off from here, and Bitcoin Cash could just lag. Maybe it doesn't lose value, it just lags compared to Bitcoin. This could still move down. But, again, this is all on the BCH, BTC chart, not the USD chart. If we're looking at the long-term RSI here on the daily, we got pretty high up there, man. This is hot for the long-term RSI. It's not overbought by any means, but I mean, I'm curious to see. This is the dinosaur here. We've never had this high of a reading on the long-term RSI either, and that's not a bad thing. On the daily, that's really not a bad thing. That doesn't mean more continuation, but all that's saying is that this move, like quite literally, you look at it, right, you're getting the strongest readings on the daily and on the weekly. This is the strongest move Bitcoin Cash has ever seen in its history. That's all it's saying. You can see it in the charts, the indicators prove it, but you can see it literally in the price action, in the value, whatever to call this, versus Bitcoin. I mean, it was like the same move, but it took twice the time. It took like 6 weeks. This is only 2 weeks, and just ridiculous, man. Off of all-time lows too. It wasn't with anything carrying it forward. It just came off of these like very weak price actions and then just boom. Strongest move in history. So do I think that this is a key turning point? Do I think this is going to lead to bigger and better things down the future for Bitcoin Cash? Definitely. Fuck yeah, man. Definitely. Sorry for cursing, Grandma, Grandpa. I'm sorry. I definitely think I do. I think it's good. But if you look at it on the 4-hour, more immediate term time frames, you did get overbought on the long term, which is ridiculous, man. You're definitely hot if you're doing that. You had some kind of range here from bottom to, from these bottoms here. You had the kind of like ascending channel, and you're breaking out of it. That's not good. On a 4-hour, you're definitely breaking out of it. Also, mind you, coming out of very, very hot conditions. You could go you could go back down here, no problem. And that would drop this a lot, man. That would, you'd drop through a lot of this range. On the short-term RSI, same thing, man. You were overbought for a while. Now you're below the 50, finding resistance on it. You rejected it once, but you got sucked back under it. And now you actually found resistance on it. You're kind of in this ascending channel here, maybe something like that, right? And you might be breaking out of it. I don't know. Maybe it would be like this because it bounced here, kind of tried to break out of it, bounced here, finding resistance. I don't know. Maybe something like that. But it doesn't look good on the 4 hour. And then, yeah, again on the daily, you got that bearish divergence. On the weekly, most overbought you've ever been. This is not hidden bearish divergence. There's no bearish divergence going on at all. In fact, I would even say that the fact that it's the most overbought, most people might think, oh, this is the highest it's ever been. This is a bearish signal. This is this is far from a bearish signal, man. This is very good. This is very, very good. This is the kind of stuff you want to see. And this, it just, in itself, in a certain way, it actually proves that it is going to do very well against Bitcoin. In the coming weeks, months, years, like it's going to do well versus Bitcoin, probably. But I do expect, again, being below the 50 on the long-term RSI, being above the purple line in the price, I would expect that we come down below it. That is my current expectation. I would expect, in fact, I'd take it a step further to be a little bit less vague and a little more specific, that any time spent above this purple line will be short-lived. It will be short-lived, less than a month. You know, we're on the weekly scale, so relative to like what time is on this, short-lived would be like less than a month, maybe like less than a month and a half, technically. You know, less than 6 bars up here. So we could go higher in the meantime. My impression is, though, that we're probably going to go down. Everything else looks like it wants to go down. We have bearish divergence on the daily. The 4 hour looks like shit on the RSI at least. And, you know, we've just kind of been not doing anything in this little range where before we were kind of slowly climbing, right? Slowly climbing. Now it looks like we're doing something different. But I don't know. We could still go up higher. We definitely could go up higher from here. But to see that, to like kind of validate that that's what's going to happen, you'd want to see a close probably, I mean, at least at first, you'd want to see a close on a 4 hour above here, kind of above there, but really on the daily, you'd want to see it close above there, above that daily close. Both those things, if that happens, okay, sure, it'll go higher than this. It'll probably make a move just like this one, maybe a little smaller, maybe even bigger, whatever. But either way, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, this thing is going to be short-lived up here. And that's not a bad thing. Again, this is a really strong reading. You're going to get, I mean, it's beautiful, man. It really is. But, you know, the best that we can hope for is that it goes up a little bit from here, comes back down to the purple line, finds support on it, and then goes up. But what's more likely going to happen, or at least in my opinion, what's going to happen is we probably go down from here, probably quite a ways, because we're really far away from this 50, man. And we form a higher low. You know, that's basically it. We form a higher low, and then from there we're gonna form a higher high, and it'll be Bitcoin Cash's first like true higher high, I believe. Let's see. As well, you know, these little things don't count. These moves count, right? You've got a high, you've got a lower high, you've got lower high. I guess here high, higher high. That was a higher high there. So we might have the second ever higher high, but you know, I don't know. And you did have higher lows here. That's, you know, to be fair, higher low there even. But you weren't above the purple line. Purple line didn't exist. You were not showing as strong of you know, conviction in the RSI. This is very good, man. It's very good looking. Okay, I'm sorry. You asked for the BCH BTC, so I kind of went over that. I'm doing BCH USD now. We'll go on Binance USDT. I always do Coinbase. So let's do Binance today. Why not? Very, very good looking. Very, very good looking. You are at the purple line here as well, and you are above the 50. So counter to that, you know, the thing is though, you were, let's see, I guess, yeah. You were above the 50 here, but below the purple line, and you still went down. So, you know, it might not respect this one on a weekly, and that's okay. Sometimes that happens, and there's not enough data to go off of. Maybe I think Coinbase, that might be ultimately why I use Coinbase, because it has more data. Yeah, it has a lot more data. Yeah, see, you see this? There we are. It's actually rejecting the 50 as of right now. So you're below the 50, below the purple line. Yes, you're making strides to get above it. Yes, I mean, and right now that's at $337. I do think you're going to get above it at some point, but you found resistance on this area before. You found support on it before. You found resistance on it down here before. And once you broke through it, that's when your move up started. So I do think that this is a significant area, whether it's this line or some other line, or it's some kind of a significant area. We are very overbought on the weekly on this as well, the most overbought we've been on price. And, you know, anytime that we've been this high in the RSI, which hasn't been much, I mean, technically, I guess one other time, we saw a pretty sizable pullback in the coming weeks afterwards. So it really wouldn't surprise me if Bitcoin Cash, again, you can go back, man, you can take any low, take a low here, go to the high, and look at where the low went, to the 618. Every single low, I don't care where you measure, as long as it's not like this little wigwag stuff, you actually take like a, I mean, even that wigwag stuff maybe, but you take like an actual low to an actual top, and I'm fairly positive that there's nothing that goes less than like 0.5. Like, look at that one, this one's slightly less than 0.5, but very close to that area. So like just above 0.5. They all break the 382. They all go like just at a minimum barely above the 0.5, if not lower. And most of them do go lower. Measure it, literally measure it from any point on the chart. You can do it with the fib yourself. Go through it. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Tell me the date. Prove me wrong, because I want to know. But this guy here, I don't think is any exception. If you take it from the bottom to the top here, the 0.5 is down there at 173, and again, that's the minimum. And we've seen it not touch the 173 before. Let's say it only gets to the 382 for the first time in Bitcoin Cash's history. It doesn't actually go below the 382, doesn't go anywhere near the 0.5. It holds the 382. That's still at $200, and we're at 287 from now. So I don't think that it's time to buy. I think BCH versus BTC is definitely like a sign that it's not time to buy. I don't think BTC looks good right now either. I think it's going to go down. Not that it looks bad. I think this is all like really good stuff. These are all rumblings of very beautiful things to come. But at the moment, I am short-term bearish. I'm not overall bearish. I'm very excited, actually. I think we're really getting things started. But when you get things started, it's not, you have quick little pumps like this, and then months of downwards and sideways, or weeks of downwards and sideways, and then quick little pops, and then same thing. So that's kind of my expectation right now. Is I think we're going to work our way down on the BCH USD chart. I think we are going to work our way down this fib scale with a minimum expectation of somewhere right above the 0.5. I've chosen 180 as my price target from there and on to start buying. So I actually have a very sizable buy order at this 618. Very, 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 like, I'm not just for Bitcoin Cash, but for my portfolio. I have a very sizable buy order down here, and I'm actually planning on adding more to it lower. And then if we bounce here and we go up, I'll use what I was going to buy lower. I'll buy it higher if I have to. I want to get in on this thing, man. I feel bad for missing it already, but this is like one of the strongest charts in crypto right now. So, I mean, I don't think that's I think that's not a bold assumption. That's a very true assumption. This is one of the strongest charts in crypto. Nobody's talking about it. Everybody knows about Bitcoin Cash, but it's going to be the one that gets away from people if they're not paying attention. That's how these things go. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. Anyways, Samuel Sains. This one again, man. This was at your request. That's why we started with the BCH BTC for a long bit there, but closing up with this BCH USD, my closing statements would be bearish, short-term bearish. I'm liking what I see for sure in the long term, but in the immediate term, you have bearish divergence here. This first top happened down here at like 218 to 180. So in my opinion, it's very likely that we go there. Prove me wrong by holding this overbought zone as support, and then going higher, forming another like lower high or another high or whatever, then we'll probably get another move up, probably up to like $500 or $600, something like that, which would be stupendous. But again, I'm still not buying until we have some kind of sizable pullback. At the moment, we have had something that's like within its average range. We've had an 18% drop, but I'm expecting more, so I'm waiting, man. I'm not buying here, and that's my genuine opinion. Would I recommend anyone buy here? I don't know, maybe, man. If you wanna be kind of risky, but also kind of safe. Like if this is something that you're going to hold for a long time, I think you're fine. Like if you're planning on holding this thing for years, if you buy it here at 286 and it drops down to like 186, like if a year goes by, are you going to really care that much? Probably not. You know, you're gonna feel pretty smart for buying here, but I'm personally not buying here. I wouldn't necessarily recommend anyone buy here. We are at a point of resistance after all. And again, you know, there's just these little things, man, little tricks that I've learned along the way. But if you see this price range, if you get good, and it doesn't take much time, but like you can identify, right, that this is a line, we're moving down. This is kind of a price range here, and then you have another impulsive move down, right? You can kind of identify that. So if you ever see a price range, measure a fib from the bottom to the top of that price range. Put a frickin' line right at the 0.5. Put it right there at the 0.5. Here it is. It's this green line. And then just like see if price respects it later, because guess what? It normally does. You normally respect like the halfway point of these like price ranges. It's weird. It's kind of weird, but I've found that to be true. And you can measure the halfway point of this price range, but we're probably never going to see it again. I am currently under the impression that Bitcoin Cash never sees prices below like 120, 150 even. I'd be kind of surprised if it actually, I mean, maybe not 150. What was it? 130? Because 150 is the 618, right? 148, yeah. So maybe like 130, yeah, 135. Much past this, I'm very much under the impression that we don't see prices down here again, ever. So I'm definitely wanting to get in on this pullback. I think that it's going to be a very good time, maybe potentially the best investment of the freaking decade, man. Like literally, as far as like being safe and smart goes, I think it's really a good time. But yeah, I'm just rambling at this point. So hope you guys liked the video. If you did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to see more, and you know, as I've said a couple times, I do requests, man. If you have a request, whatever the chart is, whatever. If you want an opinion on something, I don't care. I'm willing to give it a go, give it a shot, give it my honest opinion. And yeah, that's kind of what brought us here today. Though, you know, eventually I'm sure we would talk about Bitcoin Cash, the BCH BTC pair, you know, inevitably. But this was definitely inspired by you, Samuel Sains. So I appreciate everybody for watching. Thank you very much. I will see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.